Welcome to part 2 of the NFL season predictions. If you have not seen part 1, go check this video out. After this video, maybe, give me a chance with at least the NFC South. But you've already know how these season predictions work. We're going to be doing 1 through 4 of each division. This title, this video is going to be about the NFC South. Of course, the Panthers, Bucks, and all that. But yeah, like I said, if you have not checked the AFC South, go check it out after this video. And then, yeah, let's get into it. Starting off with the number 4 team, I think this is the most obvious number 4 team of the NFL. I got the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry, Panthers fans. I mean, you guys were already complete butt cheeks last year, but this year, I mean, you're going to be a little bit better butt cheeks at least. Of course, you got Bryce Young as a quarterback. I got Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard as a running back. And I do like the Deontay Johnson wide receiver pickup. Or, they traded him with the Steelers. Xavier. I like the wide receiver room. It's actually not that bad. And they did make a lot of moves for offensive line, too. I just don't like the defense. They got Jadeveon Clowney, I guess. They lost Brian Burns and kind of, they replaced him with Jadeveon Clowney. I think he's at least above average, maybe at max. But anyways, this defense has a lot of question marks. And of course, Bryce Young did not look too good last year. But like I said, I did like what they did in the offseason. They brought in a lot of offensive linemen. They got a couple of nice little wide receivers. So it makes Bryce Young's team just a little bit easier to win. But they're still going to be dead last in this division. I'm sorry. I got them between 3 to 5 wins. 5 wins at absolute max. I think between 3 to 4 is really just about right for them. I do like the new coach, Dave Canales, but just not there yet. I mean, the Panthers are still a couple years away for sure. And Bryce Young, if he really flunks up this year, again, they made a lot of small improvements, but if he does really bad again this year, yeah, he might be gone. My number 3 team in the NFC South will be the New Orleans Saints. I think just the other 2 teams are better than them. But the Saints, I just don't know how I feel about them, really. You still got Derek Carr as your quarterback, in which I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks out there, even though he's really not considered a really good quarterback. I think average is too good for him because I think he's below average. I had to be honest. I'm sorry. When it comes to this offseason, they made a couple of small moves. I do like the Chase Young addition. I think even though he's kind of stunk it up last year with the 49ers, he had a little bit. I think he might pop off a little bit this year, but their defense, they're still a good defense, don't get me wrong, but they kind of have to win now because there are a lot of older players. And I do like the Kool-Aid draft. I do like Chris Olave. So there's a couple of nice players, I like with the New Orleans Saints. I just think there's a few really good players and then a lot of bad players, at least in my prediction. Let me know in the comments if I'm completely wrong. Trust me, I love it when people roast me. Well, not really. My win prediction for the Saints is going to be between 5 to 7. They might be a 500 team at max. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Of course, I got number 5 wins as their bottom of the barrel type, season, like the worst case scenario, basically. I just don't like the quarterback, Derek Carr. Alvin Kamara's kind of out of his prime, at least from my, ideas from last year. He didn't really play last year. I don't know. I just don't like the Saints this year. I think they may be, 1 or 2 years away, just like the Panthers, even though the Saints are in a better position now than the Panthers. But as of right now, I got them between 5 to 7 wins and the number 3 team in the NFC South. The number 2 team in the NFC South, and right when I say this, I'm going to pop up the number 1. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as my number 2 team, the Atlanta Falcons as my number 1 team. Now, of course, the Bucks made the playoffs last year. They won a division and all that. And this offseason, they didn't really make a lot of big moves. But they did re-sign a lot of players, in which I really do like that. They re-signed Mike Evans. They re-signed Antoine Winfield Jr. They had to lock up those players along with Baker Mayfield. They locked up their best players, and that's actually a really good offseason right there. When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, this is where it scares me a little bit as a Buccaneer fan. Or if I was a Buccaneer fan. You got Vita Vea and, of course, Levante David, but you did lose, not Sean Bunting, oh my goodness, Carlton Davis, which I thought he was technically their best cornerback. And I'm a little bit sus of the Bucs defense, but I think their offense is too powerful. I think they're going to carry a lot of games. There's going to be a lot of high-scoring games for the Bucs this year. I got them between 8 to 10 wins. Definitely a wild card spot team. So they're going to be in the mix all year for sure. I just don't have them as good as the Falcons, which I'm going to talk about them now. Now, of course, my number 1 team, the Atlanta Falcons. And now a lot of people might think I'm crazy, but this is a sneaky, really good team. even last year when they had Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder, they were still about a 7 to 8 win team last year. And like their quarterback last year, hot dookie. Now, I will admit, Kirk Cousins is an above average quarterback for sure. I do think they overpaid him just a tad little bit, but it's a significant upgrade from last year. That's all I gotta say about that for sure. I mean, they still got Bijan Robinson or Bijan, however you freaking say his name. They got Drake London, Kyle Pitts. They have a lot of good offensive players on the side. And I know Kyle Pitts has kind of not lived up to the hype in the last couple of years, but I think a new offensive coordinator, new head coach, I think it's going to be completely brand new for them. I think they're going to really ball out this year, unfortunately for Nick's part, because he's a Buccaneer fan. And they, of course, their defense is pretty good too. Their secondary is definitely by far one of the best in NFL, with freaking Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons as a safety. And now Justin Simmons kind of, is off his prime, but he's still an above average safety. This Falcon team, I really do like the way they're going for sure. And they're definitely in win now mode. But this ends this video. If you do like it, hit that like button, subscribe if you're brand new, comment down below your biggest reactions. I do want to see you guys' reactions. But I'm out here for part 2. Part 3 coming out tomorrow. Deuces.